And just because we followed Greece into democracy does not mean we need to follow them into bankruptcy. And of course, we got these big spenders on the other side of the aisle, and they come with all their excuses. They say, oh, Governor, how do you do that? I mean, it's really hard. The politics are difficult, and the interest groups are tough, and on and on. Well, I know something about the big spenders, and I know something about difficult. I come from the state of McCarthy, Mondale, Humphrey, Wellstone, and now United States Senator Al Franken. But we cut government in Minnesota, and if we can do it there, we can do it anywhere. The naysayers say, we can't cut spending, we can't prioritize. They say we must raise taxes. I drew a line in the sand and said, absolutely not. We're going to live within our means, just like our families, just like businesses, just like everybody else. Now, it wasn't easy. As Sean mentioned, I had to do things like I set a record for the most vetoes in my state in a year, and second overall. I vetoed billions of dollars of tax and spending increases. We had the first government shutdown in my state in the 150-year history of my state. We took one of the longest transit strikes in the history of the country to get public employee benefits under control. And in the last budget period, we cut spending in real terms for the first time in the history of Minnesota. So the federal government should do the same. Now here's a few things to get started that I hope you'll agree with. I'll give them to you and see what you think. We should not raise the debt ceiling. We should pass a constitutional amendment to finally balance the budget. And here's one I know you agree with. We should repeal Obamacare. And while we're at it, let's do one more thing. Let's throw the tax code overboard. Now, let's start that last one by doing this. And Sean, I don't mean any offense to you personally on this one. But let's require, under penalty of perjury, that every member of Congress complete their own tax returns without the help of a tax preparer, accountant, or lawyer. Let them experience fully, firsthand, the moronic, burdensome, intimidating beast that our tax system has become. Now here's another common sense principle from the heartland that President Obama clearly needs to still learn. And it's this: people spend money differently if it's their own money. So now maybe in your busy life you've got time to read white papers and go to seminars and stay up all night and watch cable TV and read public policy journals. I hope you do. That's really valuable and it's important. But if you don't, Here's all you really need to know about government reform. You can do it in one weekend. Just so on one weekend, do this. Go to 2 weddings. Go to one where there's an open bar, where the drinks are supposedly free. And then on the next night, go to another wedding where they have a cash bar, where people pay for their own drinks. You'll see very, very different behaviors. Now, I said this on Wall Street not long ago, and somebody said, they yelled out from the back of the room, well, who the heck has a cash bar anymore? Well, that question right there from a Wall Streeter tells you about all you need to know, doesn't it? If you have a system where people get to consume stuff without any of their own skin in the game or responsibility, and the mirage is created that the bill magically goes somewhere else, that's a system that is doomed to fail. Unfortunately, that describes most of our government. So whether it's education, healthcare, housing, or just about anything else, we need to put people in charge. We need to give them the power to make their own decisions, not government. And the best thing we can do to empower people is to make sure they have access to a good job. And that means remembering this next common sense principle. The private sector, not the government, is the answer to job creation. We shouldn't be looking to Washington, D.C. for how to create jobs. We should be asking the people who actually provide the jobs. And when you do, they give you some pretty clear answers. They say this: reduce my costs and get the government off my back. By the way, in Minnesota, as I left the governorship, our unemployment rate was significantly lower than the national average. And since the crash, we've been helping to lead the economy towards recovery. Ladies and gentlemen, America needs job growth, not government growth. Now, this next and last one, you may have learned it on the playground. You may have learned it in sports. You may have learned it at work. You may have learned it in a back alley somewhere. But no matter where you learned it, it's always true. Bullies respect strength. They don't respect weakness. So when the United States of America projects its national security interests here and around the world, we need to do it with strength. We need to make sure there is no equivocation, no uncertainty, no daylight between us and our allies around the world. This current administration doesn't seem to understand this important principle. We undermine Israel, the UK, Poland, Czech Republic, Colombia, amongst other of our friends. Meanwhile, we appease and accommodate Iran, Russia, adversaries in the Middle East, including Hamas and the Muslim Brotherhood. Mr. President, with bullies, might makes right. Strength makes them submit. We need to get tough with our enemies, not our friends. And one more thing. Mr. President, stop apologizing for our country. The bullies, terrorists, and tyrants of the world have lots to apologize for. America does not. My friends, this isn't going to be easy. If prosperity were easy, everybody around the world would be prosperous. And if freedom were easy, everybody around the world would be free. And if security were easy, everybody around the world would be secure. They're not. It takes an extraordinary effort. It takes an extraordinary commitment. It takes extraordinary strength to stand up to those who oppose these principles, but we can do it.